The Galactic Academy of Interspecies Sciences had seen many strange things in its 400-year history. It had witnessed the Vorkai delegate spontaneously molt during a philosophy seminar. It had watched a Thessian elder faint when a human student casually consumed an entire bowl of capsaicin pods for breakfast. It had even survived the infamous incident of 2287, when a Draxian student accidentally triggered a fire suppression system by sneezing. But nothing had prepared instructor Veluin for the Tuesday afternoon physical theory class when Emma Reyes decided she had heard enough. Veluin was a Keth, 7 feet of slow-moving, methodical, bioluminescent calm. His species was ancient, cerebral, and deeply skeptical of anything that could not be measured on a molecular level. He had taught at the academy for 60 years. He had witnessed dozens of human students cycle through his courses. He found them puzzling, occasionally irritating, and, if pressed, secretly fascinating in the way one finds a paradox fascinating. Today's class was applied biomechanics of dominant species, and the subject was predator physiology. Jack Harlow, a human male who had befriended half the non-human students in the academy through sheer relentless cheerfulness, sat in the third row taking notes. He had already filled 2 pages with diagrams. Beside him, his arm draped lazily over the back of her chair, sat Grathvel, a Durankai. Grathvel was, in biological terms, a nightmare. 7 feet, 4 inches. Roughly 400 pounds of layered muscle built over 3 million years of apex predation. His species had no natural enemies on their homeworld. His hands were wide enough to wrap around a human torso. His claws, retracted, always retracted in public spaces, could shear through iron alloy. He moved with the quiet confidence of a creature that had never once, in its entire evolutionary history, been afraid. He was also, Jack privately thought, one of the funniest people he had ever met. The Durankai, instructor Veluin said, clicking through the holographic display, represent the apex of biological predator design in the known galaxy. Superior musculature, enhanced skeletal density, neurological reflex arcs 3 times faster than baseline humanoid. They are, in measurable terms, the most physically dominant species currently enrolled at this academy. Grathvel did not acknowledge the compliment. He simply continued existing at his enormous scale, which was acknowledgement enough. By contrast, Veluin continued, humans occupy an interesting but physically unremarkable niche. Mid-tier endurance, limited strength ceiling, no natural armor or weaponry. Their evolutionary advantage lies in cognitive flexibility and social coordination rather than physical capability. Emma Reyes, seated in the second row, put down her stylus. She was 5 feet, 6 inches tall, 138 pounds. Brown hair pulled into a knot. She had the kind of quiet that didn't mean passive, the kind that meant she was deciding something. Instructor Veluin, she said. Yes, student Reyes? With respect, that framing is incomplete. The room shifted. Several Thessians tilted their head crests. A pair of Vorkai exchanged a rapid series of blinks that translated, roughly, as oh, this should be interesting. Veluin's bioluminescence flickered amber, the Keth equivalent of polite patience. Please elaborate. The data you're citing is population average baseline data, Emma said. It doesn't account for trained outliers. Human physical capacity has an unusually wide variance. We have individuals who train their bodies to extremes that don't map onto species average charts. The average human cannot match a Durankai, Veluin said. Not unkindly, just factually. I didn't say average. Grathvel turned his enormous head slowly to look at Emma. His amber eyes, evolved to track prey at distance, studied her with what was, for him, gentle curiosity. You are small, he said. His translator rendered the Durankai inflection as thoughtful rather than dismissive. I am aware, Emma said. You are claiming you could challenge me? I'm claiming the framing of the lesson erases what humans are actually capable of. I'm not interested in a challenge. She paused. Unless you want proof. The room went very, very quiet. Jack covered his face with both hands. Not in despair, in the particular expression of a human who knows exactly what is about to happen and has accepted it completely. Veluin, to his credit, recognized a genuine educational moment when it was dropped in front of him. They relocated to the Academy's physical training annex. Word had traveled, it always did, and by the time they arrived, The observation balcony held perhaps 40 students of various species, all pretending they had simply happened to be passing through. Grathvel stood in the center of the mat. He was, as always, perfectly relaxed. This was not arrogance. It was simply the resting state of a being that had never been given cause for tension. "What are the parameters?" he asked Emma. "Static lift," she said. "You sit. I try to lift you. No tricks, no tools, no leverage assists. Clean deadlift position." Grathvel considered this. "I weigh 412 pounds. I know. You weigh. I know what I weigh." He sat down on the mat cross-legged, massive arms resting on his knees. He tilted his head. "I will not resist. It would not be safe." "Appreciate it." Emma shook out her hands, rolled her shoulders, took 3 slow breaths. Then she walked behind him, reached her arms under his, locked her grip across his chest, set her feet, dropped her hips, and lifted. Grathvel's knees cleared the mat. The observation balcony erupted. It lasted for seconds. Emma's face had gone the particular shade of dark red that meant every muscle in her body was currently having a very serious conversation with physics. Then she set him down, stepped back, and put her hands on her knees. Grathvel sat there for a moment, perfectly still. Then he turned around and looked at her with an expression that his species reserved for moments of genuine recalibration. "You," he said slowly, "have been lifting things heavier than you for a very long time." "Since I was 16, Emma said, still catching her breath. "Powerlifting. My best competition deadlift is 490 pounds. The room absorbed this. Jack had stopped covering his face. He was grinning with the undisguised joy of a person watching something that had confirmed everything they already knew about the species they belonged to. Instructor Veluin stood very still for a long moment. His bioluminescence cycled through 3 colors in rapid succession, the Keth equivalent of updating a fundamental assumption. "Student Reyes," he said at last. "Yes, instructor. I will be revising the lesson materials." "I figured you might." Grathvel rose to his full height, looked down at Emma, and did something that his species rarely did outside of deep family bonds. He bowed. Not deeply. Durankai bows were precise, measured things, but unmistakably genuine. "You are not mid-tier," he said simply. Emma straightened up, finally breathing normally. "None of us are, when we decide not to be." Later, walking back across the academy's central courtyard, Jack fell into step beside her. "You trained for 4 years for this exact moment," he said. "I trained for 4 years because I love lifting," she said. This moment was a bonus. He laughed. Above them, 3 moons hung low over the alien sky, and somewhere in the academy behind them, 40 students of 12 different species were already transmitting the recording home. The galaxy, it was learning, had a habit of underestimating humans. It kept having to stop.